Going on down to AfterBuzz, gonna talk your favorite show.
Friendly hosts everywhere, humble talks without flirtation.
Going on down to AfterBuzz, gonna see my favorite host.
Ample thoughts, day or night, people shouting but never fighting.
Heading on up to AfterBuzz, gonna hope we don't ramble.
We like those with big fat titties, man, I hope this show ain't shitty.
Come on down to AfterBuzz and meet some hoes of mine.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the South Park Weekly Show here on AfterBuzz TV. And if there's one universal truth in the goddamn universe, it's the fact that you're not anybody unless you've been parodied on South Park.
Or Eminem songs.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now, I never understood why celebrities got mad at being parodied on South Park. Just embrace it like Lord did. That's what I say. But hey, whether or not they did, we're going to talk about him. We have Christian Blatt.
Hi, I'm Christian Blatt. Micos de burritos y tacos. And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at ChristianDMZ.
What's up, everyone? I'm Steph Sabra, and you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Steph Sabra. You've been really killing it lately with your intros, I just have to say.
Gracias.
And I'm Phil Sweetek. And missing in action is Stephen Lemieux.
We miss you, Steven.
Well, missing, it's a loose term, really.
So before we get started, of course, let us know your thoughts and opinions about who your favorite celebrity on South Park has been. We truly do appreciate it. And of course, subscribe. That way you get all of our episodes. Will be, even though the show has gone on hiatus, we will be here supporting you, giving you the binge. Or what do you call it when something goes off?
Oh.
We'll give you your fix.
Fix.
It's not the term I'm looking for. I think there's a better word, but for now, we'll just go with your fix while we're on hiatus. But there's a better term for it. Anyway.
We'll brainstorm.
So, here's what we're going to do. We each get 3 picks and an honorable mention. We're going to go from 3 all the way to 1. Steph, kick us off with your number 3 pick. 4.
Okay, so for number 3, my pick is Britney's new look. This episode is one where I go back and forth all the time. I'm like, did I like it, or did I really like it, or did
I love it?
Did I love it, or was it the most cringe-worthy thing ever? Because Britney, it has half of her face blown off nearly the entire episode, and I had no idea that's where they were going with the title Britney's new look. But this episode, at the time, it was in 2008, like, this was the peak of Britney's breakdown, shaved head, and everyone did think, like, is she gonna die? And so it was really topically right on the nose at that time, and I got like a lot of mixed reviews, but I read a couple things from Matt and Trey that it was written to be good to Britney, which is kind of different than their normal celebrity type episodes. And they were like, no, this was nice to Britney. We were mean to ourselves and to the press. And because in the episode, the whole town is crazy, and there's this nationwide conspiracy to kill Spears for a harvest sacrifice, and they even called the next celebrity breakdown for the harvest sacrifice 5 years before her breakdown, which was Miley Cyrus.
It's a great point. I forgot that, yeah.
That is a good point. Well, overall question, are you a Britney Spears fan? Is that what made it so tough for you?
No, I'm actually not. I've really always
fan?
wondered where the obsession comes from, because I think she was cool, but I'm not like the leave Britney alone group. But it was just, she was really gross. Like, the entire episode, I felt so bad.
You're driving me crazy. That's just crazy talk right there.
Well,
you belong to a circus.
You did it again, Steph.
What?
Oops, you did it again.
What I did.
You gotta work,
look, I
bitch.
think this is thank you. I think that's a good one. My choice for number 3 is Fat Butt and Pancake Head. And just because it is just such a ridiculous idea. Don't you think so, Jennifer Lopez? See, it's very ridiculous. Just the whole idea. And the fact that, Ben Affleck then falls in love with the hand, Jennifer Lopez, which it's a takeoff of this old thing called Senor Wences that used to be on, like, the Ed Sullivan Show. It's just such a it's so stupid, and that's what I love it for, because just the whole premise is so dumb and not grounded in reality, and they treat it like it is. And it's also fun to revisit a simpler time when the only Jennifer that Ben Affleck was cheating on was Jennifer Lopez before he'd even gotten the chance to cheat on Jennifer Garner.
Good old Bennifer.
That's Bennifer 1.0, because then he married Bennifer 2.0. So, but anyway, I don't know. This, to me, this just has everything, and it goes after two celebrities. And to your point about why celebrities would not enjoy being made fun of on South Park, I think it has something to do with me. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But that's one of my favorites. It's my third favorite.
All right. As I'm thinking about it, I might have to pull a wild card out.
Uh-oh.
After honorable mentions remind me.
Okay, so you got a wild card.
I got a wild card. But remind me, because I might forget. And if I forget, then just say Golden Globe speech.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
So that's the key. Remember that, Anthony. My number 3 pick is none other than James Cameron, because James Cameron does what James Cameron does, not for James Cameron, but because he is James Cameron. Mm-hmm. And then when everybody's watching Honey Boo Boo, and everyone's brain is rotting, who should help raise the bar but James Cameron? And of course, everyone tells good old James Cameron that the bar is, of course, figurative. It doesn't exist. But he finds the bar deep down in the ocean, and he raises that piece of shit up. Now, I think we need James Cameron to raise the bar again, but I'm glad he did it.
Solid.
It's great. It just encompassed kind of who James Cameron was and what he was about, and just kind of where we were as a culture. Just because it ended up with Honey Boo Boo fighting Cartman in sketty sauce. So, and I still think the fact that we have 90 Day Fiancé and My 600 Pound Life and shows like that, I think we've lowered the bar quite significantly. So I think what's great about South Park, as I'm realizing, is that even though these are so topical, they're still relevant today, even though their topic is different.
It's also funny, though, to think for a second, like, what happened to James Cameron? And, I mean, I know the
Filming
answer.
Avatar
He's
1,
making
2,
like
3, 4, 5.
Yeah,
So
3
excited.
Avatar sequels that I do. Wait, are you legitimately excited?
You guys don't like Avatar?
Do I want 3 more of it? I thought
There's
it was
4.
kind of... Well, yeah, that's what it be. So there's
I thought-
1 already, and there's going to be 3 more.
I didn't know there was 3 more. I thought there was 2 more.
Yeah,
No
there's
way. There's-
and he's been spending years making sequels that I don't know. I personally feel like maybe people aren't demanding, but maybe I'm wrong. I guess Steph Sabra wants to see it, but anyway, that's where he's been.
Steph Sabra does what Steph Sabra does.
That's true.
Not for Steph
Not for Steph
Sabra,
Sabra.
but because she is Steph
Sabra.
Sabra.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right.
So, all right, we'll see, and I'm sure maybe once we get all the avatars, we'll finally get something more of James Cameron on South Park. All right, pick number 2. Let's start with you, Steph.
Okay, pick number 2, Passion of the Jew. That's a good rhyme. So this was season 8. This episode was hilarious and outrageous depiction of Mel Gibson, very almost accurate. And it's when right after Passion of the Christ came out, and so everyone was crazed with it. Cartman saw it was going around being more anti-Semitic than usual, telling Kyle that he killed Jesus. Kyle sees it and he agrees with Cartman, surprisingly, for the first time. And then Stan goes and he absolutely hated it. So he goes on this vengeance to get his $18 back. And I think this episode, what I love about it is not only Mel Gibson, but also the point that it drives. You'll see it when Stan says, "It's our $18, your movie sucked." And then Mel Gibson says, "You can't say my movie sucked or else you're saying Christianity sucked." And Stan says, "No, dude, if you want to be Christian, that's cool, but you should follow what Jesus taught instead of how he got killed. Focusing on how he got killed is what people did in the Dark Ages, and it ends up with really bad results." Which is a bar, and I agree. And probably my favorite part of the episode was Mel Gibson in the William Wallace face paint.
Because he, of course, is William Wallace.
Always.
And he does always have that face paint. For me, my number 2 choice is from the new Terrence and Phillip movie trailer, but the pick has nothing to do with the Terrence and Phillip, surprisingly. But it's the amazing spot on depiction of Russell Crowe, who I believe does go out sailing with his friend Tugger. And it was just just from out of nowhere, this just ridiculous caricature of, a guy who's probably not the most likable guy in Hollywood. You understand he throws phones at people and stuff like that. At least at this time, that was the story. I think that's what they were going with. But just the idea, I just remember laughing so hard. And whenever I think about the idea of him out there with Tugger, I don't know, it makes me laugh all over again. And it's just that simple. To me, this is exactly... It nails how they can really, do, like I said, a caricature of a celebrity, and this is pretty close to perfect as far as I'm concerned.
There you go. To quickly recap, Britney's new look is season 12, episode 2. Fat Butt and Pancake Head is season 17, episode 5. Raising the Bar is 16, episode 8. Passion of the Jew is season 8, episode 3. And the new Terrence and Phillip movie trailer is season 6, episode 5. My number 2 pick is Trapped in the Closet.
Yes.
Season 9, episode 12, mainly because of Tom Cruise, but it parodies a lot of Scientology celebrities like John Travolta. It throws in Nicole Kidman. It throws in R. Kelly. The plot of the episode is that Stan joins Scientology and is acclaimed to be the reincarnation of L. Ron Hubbard. And then Tom Cruise is very excited by this, and he, of course, says, as a great actor, he wants Stan to really like him. However, Stan thinks he's an okay actor, so he locks himself in the closet, and the joke becomes Tom Cruise won't come out of the closet. Tom, please just come out the closet.
And that's all it means, is just literally he's in there. Mm-hmm. And the thing about this episode, too, is that, before we had Going Clear and that Leah Remini, this is the source of how anybody knew anything about Scientology. Like, all that stuff on the screen, like, this is what Scientologists really believe. You're like, wait, really? Like Xenu and the aliens from outer space and all that. They're like, yeah, all that stuff. And, look, that's an organization that's probably not worth going after because of how litigious they are. And the fact that Trey and Matt did was really the first time that any of us knew anything about Scientology other than, come take our personality test and come to the Celebrity Center for a fun brunch where you can, meet like Beck and Danny Masterson. That's basically like all I knew from when I was living in Hollywood at that point. But just finding out about Scientology, and on top of like how funny the episode is just like, oh, I would say that's crazy, but I don't want to be sued. But if I didn't, I'd say. And then of course it invokes Trapped in the Closet, R. Kelly's masterpiece. Just probably the funniest 21-part music video that you'll ever see. At which I was fascinated by at the time that this happened. So this for me, this is a top 5 all-time South Park episode. It could be number 1, but I'm afraid to give that. Yeah, but I'm afraid to give it that title, but I think it might be.
Look at that. My wild card pick,
yes.
I'll throw it in right now, is Oprah. Because remember that episode with Million Little Fibers where Towley writes his autobiography?
Yeah, Towley.
And he sells it through Oprah's book club, and Oprah's Minge and Gary, right? Minge and Gary.
Yes.
It's her vagina and her asshole. They don't get any action, and so they plan a whole heist of sorts.
Good call.
So
I totally forgot about that.
I'm here to remind you guys that as Oprah may or may not be running for 2020, her Minge is speaking.
I would be more likely to vote for Towley, but that's just me. You guys want to get high?
Maybe if I just get a little high. All right, honorable mention, starting with Steph.
My honorable mention is The Hobbit.
Yes.
Season 17.
We're talking South Park, not Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, well, they're both great. Right now, South Park The Hobbit was focused on Kanye West and Kim Kardashian and defending her. Well, Wendy calls her a troll. And Kanye spends the whole time defending Kim, and it's just a really funny episode, like with commentary about Photoshop and the media and consumerism. And anything with Kanye and Kim is pretty easy humor that's almost always funny to me.
For me, my honorable mention is an honorable mention because it's not really making fun of a celebrity. It's not a depiction. But Big Gay Al's Big Gay Boat Ride from season 1, it's episode 4, actually features the real George Clooney as Sparky, the gay dog, you know. Don't be gay, Sparky. And it's just the fact that he did it, and all he does are these little dog barks. Like, they had wanted Jerry Seinfeld to be one of the voices of the turkeys in the Thanksgiving episode, and he's like, no, I want to do something, you know, I want to be Jerry Seinfeld. And they were like, well, no, it's kind of funny if we have a celebrity that doesn't actually talk. And George Clooney got that. And he was one of the big proponents of the original video that went around. So, to me, it's not like you don't see George Clooney in the episode, but I just think it's really cool, and it's great that he's in this episode. And whatever happened to Sparky? Did he finally admit who he was? We don't know. Although he did wear that scarf, so I think we kind of knew.
We'll find out. My honorable mention is Bono in More Crap, season 11, episode 9. This is where Bono gets in a crap off, if you will, between Randy of who can shit the biggest shit, and Randy keeps losing. The reason is because Bono himself is an actual piece of shit. And that hence also why he wants to always be number 1 is because he's always just going to be number 2. The amount of humor, they're great with toilet humor and elevating toilet humor to a level we've never heard or seen before. And so that's what I love about this one. All right, without further ado, pick number 1. Steph, kick us off.
Inception. This was season 14. This was the year that Inception came out and everyone's minds were blown. And it was, I mean, a really... That brings me to the best part of this episode. This is, I mean, that part alone where Dr. Chinstrap and... Dr. Chinstrap and Dr. Pinkerton explain what a dream within a dream is, and they play the background music while he explains it, and it's just epic. I mean, I every time do not laugh so hard every time I see that, because it's pretty accurate in the way the dialogue was in the movie and everything. So that part alone made me love it, but I loved Mr. Mackey as a child, and when they go back and try to do dream therapy, but I know originally it was written as a Hoarders episode, and then it kind of got brought in with Inception, and I loved the Hoarders episode, the Hoarders premise on itself, and then it just got even better with the Inception.
I love the sheep herder.
Yeah.
You are herding sheep.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
For me, my number 1 is Stupid Spoiled Horror Video Playset with, an amazing depiction of Paris Hilton that's not that dissimilar from the actual Paris Hilton. And, sort of like a mini thing within it is, of course, Butters as the bear, Mr. Biggles. Sorry, I think I touched the microphone. I probably have to fill out some paperwork.
Oh my God.
Well, because, it's in these day and age, yeah. But just the idea, just being so blatant to just have Paris Hilton open a store called Stupid Spoiled Horror, and the fact that Paris Hilton was flattered by the fact that they did a parody of her, which it's a little bit cool, but it's also like, do you pay attention to what they said about you? And apparently Matt Stone said that just tells you what a piece of shit she is, that she's not offended by this when she really should be. But there's so many things within the episode, but just sort of the overall and the title and the fact that the titular whore is indeed Paris Hilton. It's just amazing. This is probably, well, this is my favorite celebrity parody because I didn't want to pick Trapped in the Closet because you'd already picked it.
Fair enough. No, and Paris Hilton at the end of the day is the OG reality star.
Yeah, that's very true.
So what was their show with Nikki?
The Simple Life?
Yeah, Simple Life.
Yeah.
The Horror Life. Oh, man. All right.
And still the only celebrity sex tape I've ever watched. Oh, did I say that out loud? Sorry.
Sure. All right, my number one pick is Steph's honorable mention, which is The Hobbit. This was simultaneously one of the funniest episodes. First off, this is Kanye's return because he gets introduced as Gay Fish, and for a moment you're like, wait, who? And then you see Kanye because he became a gay fish, and now he's a renounced, recovering gay fish, dating Kim Kardashian, who is not the Hobbit. Bitch, how you not the Hobbit? And the fact that kept being brought up was just so hilarious. And I laughed so hard. And yet, the ending... And also, they kind of parodied Britney Spears because if you want a body like that, you better work, bitch. A.K.A. Photoshop. But that ending shot with Wendy going to the computer and realizing in order for her to fit in, she has to Photoshop her looks. I've never cried at an episode until this. It was so sad. The fact that like women, it's such a sad message, and you know, I really think there's no more actual poignant episode that girls, and I mean girls like, you know, actual girls from like 7 to 18 should actually watch than this, especially now.
Yeah, it is a good episode for that.
The only thing I know, we'd have to figure out how to put in Kylie in there somewhere because she's now bigger than Kim or whatever. But it's just very sad. I'm sad.
Manufactured.
Yeah, it's sad. You know, I'm sorry to end on a down note.
No, but it's a good point. I mean, not. That was like my pick with the Britney one. It's not necessarily because it was the funniest. Parts of it were funny, and that big part of that was funny. But the ending was just shows how smart they are when they're writing this stuff.
Yeah. You guys want to get high?
Damn right I do, please. Fuck yeah. All right.
You're the worst character ever,
Talk
Tally.
about your next fix.
All right. Well, other choices could have been Trump, Obama, Saddam, Michael Jackson. So many to choose from.
Yeah, it's too
well,
many.
for Trump and Obama, we have a future episode where we're going to do political figures. So
Spoiler alert.
Maybe they turn up. Who knows?
Why don't you just give away the whole episode?
I just said
damn it?
maybe. I said maybe. I didn't say nothing.
All right. Well, there you have it. Thanks as always. In the meantime, where can people follow you?
You can find me at Steph Sabra on Twitter and Instagram. See?
You can find me at Christian DMZ and follow me on the Trump Report.
Oh, that's right. Tuesdays on AfterBuzz. Thanks.
And you can follow us here at AfterBuzz TV, and I'm at Phil Svitek. Thank you, guys. Next week, what we've got for you is the most offensive episode. Whew. If you have thin skin, stay away, because we might offend you. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.